I lived at Crow Agency, and that's only about a mile from the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Well, Custer got sued. So we studied the real history, because only the version they had up there when they knew their Rangers did their presentation was about Custer and his thing. In fact, there was no monument dedicated to Custer. I mean, the natives that died up there. It was just a Custer monument. Well, that started upsetting a lot of native people. And again, protests came. That AIM came in the movement, and AIM was born on the streets here in Franklin to protect ancient Native Americans from harassment and whatever. But they came in big groups and did a protest up at the battlefield, wanting a monument dedicated to the natives up here, wanted natives involved, in this whole thing. But the only perspective they were giving them was the non-native portion, which wasn't, well, maybe true of their history, but that's the whole thing about history. It's called his story. So we wanted our story to get out, our native story. Let them start picking up. So, well, historically, according to what the native culture was saying, the ancestors would say, well, Custer didn't die up on a hill. He died very beginning, down below by the river. He was killed there. So the story about him being the last survivor standing up there heroically shooting, it's not true. And well, that story started coming out. And eventually, they did get a monument up there now. And if you ever go to the battlefield, there's a monument up there dedicated to the natives that died there, the tribes they were representing. And there's even a few gravestones where they fell. They can find many Indian bodies because when the natives left after that battle, they took all their dead with them. And I think they buried them up on the mountains, Bighorn Mountains, or the Pryor Mountains, which were sacred. A lot of them are buried up there, in my opinion. And they dispersed, kind of went back, because that was the biggest gathering of the Lakota and other Cheyenne Nation come together, as they call it, the Teton Council meeting, which the Sundance was going on at that time. And that's what Custer invaded, come down there. And he thought he could take over his village, which consisted of over, I think, 15,000 teepees, over 4,000 warriors were there. The warriors now, as his reputation was kind of gained by attacking villages, but they're only men, women, and children in their village. All the warriors were out. So that's what he would conquer and dominate and massacre. And that's how he got his reputation as an Indian fighter. That was the first time he ever met warriors. And that was who was there at Sundance, warriors that were trained and seasoned in battle. And they fought back that day. So when Custer divided his forces and went down into that valley to surround these Indians, and all of a sudden they started coming out from everywhere. They were just overrun and, well, terminated on the hill. So that was the end of that. And the tribes dispersed to different parts, like I said. And then that's when and that was the last real historical event that happened in native country. Because they were being chased all over to be put on reservations. That was the goal, to put natives on reservations after they took away their land. And that happened to every tribe. Every tribe would make treaties with them, and they would break it right away. There was no consistency in the United States treaty with Native Americans. In fact, if you look, there was over 500 treaties that were made from different various tribes, and not one of them have been kept so far. Not one. So when America talked about Russia violating treaties, which Indians would laugh. And anyway, that all those events that occurred where people, the native programs started to rise up and start doing their thing for their own culture, their own benefit, was actually my opinion started out in Alcatraz. We came together to push our culture, our rights as native people, because we didn't have very many that were recognized. We recognized them, but nobody else did. And that came from that movement, expanded out. We have different programs today all day in the country.